Removing the centerpiece of the state capitol is a serious job. Workers take their time, talking and preparing the irreplaceable Quadriga, created by Daniel Chester French, America's foremost sculptor, who's also responsible for the Lincoln Memorial. The work was done by Murphy Rigging, a local company that first worked on the Capitol more than 100 years ago.
Actually, Murphy Rigging does do a lot of artwork around town.
This big and this important?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know that I've ever done anything this big or this important. We had to remove Prosperity and the Scepter and crate them separately.
Prosperity, the charioteer, was recently removed and restored, so this is his second flight during the restoration.
He's got to make even the biggest, buffest guy feel like you're nothing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They decided the best way to preserve the Capitol's crown jewel was to keep the 10,000-pound sculpture largely intact and move it in one big piece.
We cut away the corners for our rigging positions to make sure we had a good spot. As everybody knows how this thing is, we did not want to lose it.
A 300-foot-tall crane with securing straps slowly approaches. The giant golden horses and figures greatly outsize the humans nearby. A windy day makes the work much more precarious as crews try to catch the flying straps and not fall themselves.
Another mile an hour on the wind and we probably would have had to stop.
Really?
Yep.
They stop when the wind reaches 20 miles per hour. On this day, it hit 19.
I sweated the whole while, but it actually went really well. I mean, it went off without a hitch. It took a little longer because of the weather, the wind, but it all went together well. No damages, no nothing.
They had the sun on their side and no rain, which would be worse. The crane carefully moves the golden horses swiftly through the air, sailing past the state capitol and eventually landing on the ground.
Our goal was on this project is nothing touches nothing. We don't want no straps on those horses. We don't want no wood. We don't even want hands if we can help it.
Now, the Quadriga is in an undisclosed location. Seriously, we can't tell you or show you exactly where it is.
This is valuable and we don't want anybody knowing about it, or we don't want to have any security risks whatsoever.
The statue, called Progress of the State, carries $10 million worth of insurance, and the value of its restoration is around $300,000.
Everything at the state capitol is a science project, and this definitely falls in that category. Highly valuable, very difficult location in terms of safety, and the public's interested.
The first order of business was figuring out how to remove it safely, and that's a challenge since you couldn't reach the front of the gilded horses on the Capitol.
There's a nose that kind of sticks out here a little bit. Can you explain that?
Yes, ma'am. When we went to measure for crating, it was really cold out. And
really cold, define really cold, by the way.
it was like 20 below.
Okay.
So, and we couldn't get all the way out there safely. So what we did is we made a guesstimate on this as best we could, and then we modified the crate to fit.
You would be dangling out, 150 feet in the air and fall to your death if you measured this properly,
Yes, ma'am.
perhaps?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
There's nothing to stand on to get out there and
There's
measure.
nothing to stand on it, and it's made that way so it reaches out to the public.
The original roof below is in worse shape than expected and has to be fixed. Not to mention toxic excrements from a pigeon infestation in the base that had to not just be cleaned, but abated. Next, a conservator will be selected, and if all goes according to plan, the Quadriga could return to the Capitol for the building's reopening at the beginning of the year.